We're going to get right to it with our first speaker, Christine Campbell. Christine Campbell wears many hats. She is an accomplished author, motivational speaker, columnist, podcaster, entrepreneur. She is a Toastmaster activist and at one time belonged to not one, not two, not three, but 8 clubs at the same time. Yes, Jane. Oh my God, it's correct. And she attends all of them. I don't know how she does it, but hey. But currently, she is the Division B Director. Christine is also the founder of Owners to Owners Business Networking Group, 9 at Night, Weeknight Podcast, and co-sponsor of Superior Speakers Advanced Toastmasters Club. She is also a business member associated with Gold and Silver Club. Her philosophy on life is set yourself free, live in the present, dream for the future, and experience the magic of new beginnings. With over 45 years of marketing, promotions, and public relations background experience under her belt, she strongly believes that giving back to society is a great way to succeed in life. Christine authored her first book titled Newbie 101, Networking Marketing from the Inside Out, which is published on Amazon in January of 2022, in which 80% focuses on self-development. She is finishing her second book titled Live Your Purpose, Purpose, which offers tips on how to make the most out of life. Christine is happily married to John, her best friend and soulmate. They were married on the 11th day of the 11th month in 2011. Yes, 11. They have a large blended family consisting of 8 kids with their respective spouses, along with 16 grandchildren and 1 great-grandchild. Let us hear it for Christine Campbell, embracing club growth opportunity through Eventbrite.
Excellent. I just want to say it is such a treasure to be here with such wonderful leaders. And I am excited because of the fact that I am so passionate about this topic that I just cannot wait to get started to share with you. The 3 things that we're going to do, this is Eventbrite. It is free if it's a free event that you're going to do. I'm going to also share with you tips if you do want to charge an event, kind of how that works with them. But the 3 main things we're going to cover is how to list your event for free. I have things to help enhance, not just using in Eventbrite, but other things you can do to help make that event even more successful, as well as items to watch out for. So let's go ahead and get started. This is a very popular place to be when it comes to any type of event. People have their knitting needle group that's on Eventbrite. So it's basically what it is. Now, basically with Eventbrite, it's all about the delivery when you are promoting your event. I created this slide just basically to point out the simplicity of it. It has the time, it has a catchy title, and you put your Zoom address there, because when you actually when you sign up, you're going to write out all of the details. So the poster does not need to have everything on it. You want to draw attention to it. Here's another one that I created specifically to show it's clean. It's not loaded. Again, in Eventbrite, you're going to have all of these details. You'll have the Zoom website. You'll have the actual link for registration on the Eventbrite when you do that. This QR code, you can add that. That goes to, I think, Superior Speakers. But it was a shameless promotion if you want to QR code it. But it is a wonderful clean that would be perfect with an event invitation to your Toastmasters group. Now, with the rules of the Toastmasters, you can use other items and not make it so busy, but the Toastmaster logo has to have space all the way around it. If you notice that each of these, the Toastmaster is on its own, it shines, because that is the star. If you add that to it, that's who we are. And that's why that was used. Now, moving on, there are a lot of promotional ways to promote your event. Eventbrite, I'm going to show you them. I'm going to actually take you through the site, and then we're going to talk through the details. So with that, let me bring this site up. How you find Eventbrite. I'm going to do it in the very beginning, as if you never heard of Eventbrite, you don't know what to do. So you spell it out. Eventbrite in Google. You will come to this. And what you do when you come to this, and I have only 10 minutes. I want to cover a lot of the tips to go along with it. So you can do this on your own. I'm going to show you how to fish. Okay. So Eventbrite, you just click on how do you create an event. You click on it, and it is definitely going to help you through every little step of the way. You'll see this platform. It'll have all these oodle things that you can purchase. Pricing, don't let that scare you off. That's only if you're going to charge for your event, then they will give you choices. Either you pay a flat rate or you just pay per ticket. And I did an event. I'll show you the event, but I paid, it was $35 tickets, and they took $6 out of each ticket. And to me, that was a little bit too much. So I do free events on Eventbrite, and I have other means and sources. I create a website for the event. But right now, you scroll down, and we make it simple. You get started for free. You click on that button, and it will take you through everything on there. And I'm timing my timing because I'm going to be brief with this, because I'm showing you how simple anybody does. Now, to get started, you just put in your event title. The organizer will be you. The type of event will show what is it, and then it will have a category. What is that? Then you have tags. Now, this is very important. If it's to do with Toastmasters, put adults. You can, come down adults here. You can do speakers, and then you can tag all of everything. So it can help market you. Speaker series, speaker slam. I mean, you just put speakers, put in other names, and then that's how it kind of takes you. So for the promotion site, many people, if they are very creative, they can get their Eventbrite, can be promoting them on their front page. Shows the location, the date and time, single event. And then when you click all of this filled out, it will say save button, and then you go to the next event. The next place, and again, that's where I got to stop because I only have 10 minutes. This is an event that I did on Eventbrite a little bit ago. And this was all I used. I just used one poster. It wasn't, just showed the basics. So it's like the size of a PowerPoint. And we just did that. We had all the locations. It had all the details in it. Join us. It had the poster on it. It had the agenda on it. It had a video. It had other products on it and stuff with this gold and silver company. And it was great. It was very easy to promote it. What I want to do now, though, is get back to where we started with just 4 minutes to go. I want to go through some tips. There's 7 tips when promoting your event. You get it on Eventbrite, you get it free, but we want to do some other things too. You want to make sure your target audience, when you put in the names and tagging it, who you're going to, you're not going to have children, right? You're going to have other names. You want to make sure you put in that. You can screenshot this if you want the details. I'll take my picture off. And that way you have screenshots so you can do this on your own. And then on a major event, you want to do it 6 months in advance if you're going to use Eventbrite. Toastmasters, if you have a weekly one, then just have a weekly and change it up. Change the thing up every week. Take advantage of the event discovery sites. There's a lot of different free advertising with different events. You can Google search, what can I do besides Eventbrite? And then just post the Eventbrite tag on there. I've done that many times. You do that 3 to 6 months is when you really ramp it up. If you use any radio broadcast or anything, and I've been able to get free radio if it was for a charity event or something, then that's when you start planning the radio is about 3 months in advance. And number 3, you harness the power of the email. Then you start doing email marketing out there. Eventbrite does have an email marketing program, but you have to give them all your information. I really don't like giving them my information. I don't want them to have it. So there's other means of marketing and just sending out email, but don't just rely on Eventbrite. You have email, you have creative ways, posters, different ways to go along with it so it's all smooth together. You want to make sure that if you're in Facebook, any social channel that you can, do a little YouTube video on it. Get yourself. I just saw a woman today, actually, she was doing a class on Eventbrite marketing. She only had 10 followers. She was rough around the edges, but I thought, hey, she can do it. Anybody can do it. And she was able to advertise her business in that, showing it as an example what to do on Eventbrite. So I thought that was pretty clever. Don't forget about the copy and design. If I showed you some designs, they're clean. You do not want to get too much information. Now, on my event, I had the picture to take it, to get it exciting. Then I had the actual poster, and then I had the agenda on there. There's all kinds of ways that you can so people can read on down, or you can tease them with that video. So that's really important. And then follow up after the event is that crucial. If you're not keeping track of those emails, getting the follow through, designate somebody to just be following through on emails. If it's quite a bit, everybody is busy. Toastmasters is volunteer, and we have day jobs and everything. But so you can team up and have your support group where each one is doing something just with that event. And you'll be surprised, with everybody together, you make a positive difference. And you can do that 1 week after the event. Wait for that. Save those emails for any future events. There's a ton more. I just did this so you can screenshot this. But I'll tell you, it's really worth going out of the realm than not doing it. It's worth doing it. I'm going to put this event up. This is an event on December 9th. This will be going up on Eventbrite. It's called Inside Out, Toastmasters Tips and Tricks. And it is done through Zoom only. It is 4 hours. But just so you know, it's sponsored by 3 clubs, but just so you know, there's some great topics real quick. Speech bingo. The keynote speaker is the power intentionalism. Deborah Pinnock. I want to just stay with the topics. Find the nuts is another great one. Dr. Andy Byrne. We have many little teachings. We have a major league and club fundraising I'm putting on. It's all about the pitch. Steve Harwood, relying on the R&R, rebuilding retention. Presentation perfection with pathways, uncovering the secrets of club coaching. There's another little mini called Club Buddy Committees. There's detecting where it grows the club. None other than Anson Munnings, our district leader. Technically speaking, acing it online with David Carr, changing lives with youth. We have table topics with the twist, the big whammy of new stuff, and it is good. And then lastly, Zippy time management tricks and tips. So with that, I just want to say it is all happening with Eventbrite. It's happening with you to make that decision. And I can't say enough how important that decision is to stand up for that club and get those ads out there and have fun along the way. Back to you.
Thank you, Christine. Questions for Christine about Eventbrite and your club?
I agree with what she's saying about Eventbrite. It's that resource is so wonderful for our club, Sunrise Toastmasters Club. It works like magic, but you do need a team support. If you don't have a team support, like she said, you may not be able to gain any visitors. So when you work as a team, it makes a difference when you follow up with the people that wanted to be part of the club. So I agree with you. It works. At Sunrise Toastmasters, we are proof of that it works. Thank you.
Thank you, Aura. Christine Frankie Davis asked, are there any tutorials that you can suggest for Eventbrite?
Yes. There are so many different ones. We have many tutorials through YouTube. You can get YouTube, and that's what I did is I dove into that to see what would show up, to see what would I suggest. There were people that were definitely experienced. Eventbrite has some out there. And then there's this woman, I'm going to go meet her because she just has a few followers. I just want to say hi. I'll support you. I'll sign up. I'm out for those just starting out. And I learned she had some great things to say, and I could even do something. Each one of you could do something if you're brand new. A lot of people start that way. So I would say explore any option through Google and YouTube.
YouTube is always a great database. I agree.
And then lastly is Eventbrite has an overabundance of tutorials. Just sticking with Eventbrite. I love Eventbrite. I've used them over the years with major concerts, everything.
So, Christina, I would ask, what do you think is a good budget for a club to utilize Eventbrite?
Well, Eventbrite, it's free if you're not charging for your club. It is absolutely free. The dynamics of having a team, you have somebody taking time to email personally. You set up an email just for your club name and promotions. And at Gmail, you can type anything, your club name at Gmail or something, or a special event at that Gmail, and then just have one oversee that. There's so many ways that you can. In fact, that marketing class that the little bit I'm doing on November 9th, that's a lot of tips how you can get everything for free, even marketing with other advertising sources.
One individual soul, Terry Stewart, comment that it sounds like a great tool. She has never used it, but will check it out for their club. And Hio Green, DPE of Riverwalk, says he's going to charge Eventbrite because he's trying to grow his membership as well. So I will say this is a presentation success. So,
well, I appreciate it. And for anybody that's scared, I showed you how easy you can do it. Push the button, Google it, and it will take you through. And if you have any questions, I'm always here to email.
Okay. And one final comment, Ticket Tailor also allows free subscription for free events.
We've been using this at Riverwalk for 10 years. And the good thing I've learned is that I do see a huge difference between, for example, when we do the early bird versus when we don't. And you can play with the rates of the events. And then either way, you then have a history of all these people. So going back 10 years, we have a history of all these people attended our events going back. It's a wonderful free tool, but like you said, you have to keep working it, and you have to also go through the list. Maybe sometimes you have to prune it like you do any email list, but it's definitely something that you look at long term. That's how it gives us a history. It really does. So I've used it quite a bit, but it changes all the time. And then there are always events that you can learn from. How are they marketing themselves as Toastmasters? What are they doing well? What could I do? Or, like a competitive analysis as well, because there are Toastmaster clubs all over, and you can learn a ton from just spending a couple, maybe an hour looking through Eventbrite through other events as well. So we look at it as a long-term thing, long-term strategy.
Awesome. Thank you for that. Well, thank you, Christine, for introducing us to the world of Eventbrite. We'll now move on to our second speaker. Distinguished Toastmaster Geraldine Hogan joined Toastmasters in 2009. She is currently a member of Broward College Toastmasters, Sunrise Toastmasters, and Miami Gardens Toastmaster Club, where she currently serves as the VPPR, and Miami Lakes Toastmaster, where she served as club president. Geraldine has served in most club officer roles and has served District 47 as an area director, club coach, and youth leadership coordinator. She currently has the pleasure of serving as a club mentor for PTC Bilingual Speaking Club in Miami, Florida. She is a retired judge of compensation claims for the state of Florida and a former teacher. She maintains her license to practice law and is certified by the Florida Supreme Court as a circuit court mediator. DTM Hogan resides in Miami Lakes, Florida, with her husband Steve, who is also a member of Miami Lakes Toastmasters Club. Distinguished Toastmaster Geraldine Hogan planned and implemented a successful open house.
Thank you to our club growth director, Anson Munnings, to our other dignitaries, distinguished Toastmasters, and fellow Toastmasters. An open house provides an opportunity for us to share the benefits of Toastmasters to our family, our friends, our neighbors, and coworkers. It's also an opportunity for those of us who are still meeting online to share the benefits of Toastmasters to the world. Tonight, I am going to share 3 aspects of an open house. I'm going to talk first and foremost about the purpose of the open house, then the planning, and then finally the production, the event itself. So let's start with the purpose. As I said, that open house provides an opportunity for us to share the benefits of Toastmasters with everyone. That is not the purpose of an open house. I strongly believe that an open house provides an opportunity for us to grow our membership. And everything going forward from the time that we decide to have an open house, moving right through to the event itself, we must keep in mind that purpose to grow our membership. It also provides an opportunity for us to reach some of our pathways goals. It provides an opportunity for our members to plan an event and to implement it from start to finish. However, keep in mind the primary purpose, and what I will be sharing with you tonight, is growing our membership. Once we've established and we've shared that purpose with all of our members, it's time to plan. And planning is the most important aspect of the open house. Starting with the date and time. We need to establish that before we can even advertise, we need to make sure our members understand that, or they know about the open house. I'm going to share something with you because this has happened more than once to me, and I've seen it happen to other clubs as well. Once we provide a team that's going to schedule the open house and plan the open house, sometimes, I know this is going to sound a little crazy, but we forget to tell our members what we're doing. The planning committee will plan, they will come up with a date, they will start getting everything in order, and then the week before we start reminding our members. And I've had members say to me, wait, what do you mean? Is this the week that we're having the open house? Is this the day we're having the open house? And we thought, it sounds crazy, we thought we were telling everybody, but we weren't. So remember that before we even advertise to the public, we need to make sure that our members know and that we continually remind them that this is the date that the open house is scheduled for, and this is the time that it's going to take place. Part of the planning also includes getting our speaker or speakers. Some clubs will implement an open house as a regular Toastmasters meeting, and that's fine. In fact, the most successful open house that I've been a part of was a regular Toastmasters meeting. We did very little advertising in terms of using social media, which is important, or the Eventbrite, which is very beneficial, as Christine shared with us a few moments ago. But the primary way that we got members to that open house, over 20 members, and we had actually 3 new members to join and 2 members to reinstate, was word of mouth. Our members were constantly reminded that the event was coming up. They told their friends, they told their coworkers, they told their family members. And I was actually surprised to see the number of people that showed up and the number of people who actually joined. So it's very important that we keep our members informed and that we keep them involved in the process. Another aspect of planning is the actual agenda. We want to make sure that, and there's several things with the agenda. So let's start with getting our speakers and our other functionaries. That's key and that's crucial. But another aspect of the agenda is also making sure that we designate the person who is going to print the agenda and bring it to the meeting if it's in person, and how that agenda is going to be distributed to members and guests online if the meeting or if the open house is taking place online. I know it sounds simple, and I know it sounds like something that's going to go and follow just in order the way that it's supposed to be, but trust me, it doesn't always happen. So during the planning process, make sure we plan not only having a well-organized and well-structured meeting, we need to make sure that we designate people to make sure that the agenda is properly distributed. Another thing that we have to do in terms of planning is to designate a person to bring the membership applications. It sounds crazy, but how are we going to have an open house and someone decides to join and we don't even have our membership applications? I hate to say it, but I've seen it happen. We need to make sure that we do not allow those opportunities to pass us by. In addition to having the application, we must also remember to think about What about those members who want to join that night, especially if we're meeting online? How are we going to get their payments to Toastmasters International? Who's going to be responsible for doing this one major thing, closing the deal? Who is going to be the person to talk to those potential members and say, not only during the thing that we do at the end of each meeting, what did you think about our meeting? Remember the purpose of the open house, to grow our membership. How are we going to take those guests from enjoying the meeting to thinking about they want to be a member to actually having the closer to come in and say, would you like to join now? Tell me how Toastmasters can benefit you. Do you know you can join tonight? It's amazing how many times we want to follow up after the open house when we have people who are there, ready, willing, and able to join at the conclusion of the event. One of the things that we need to remember, and for those of you who may not know, it is possible for an officer to put in a potential member's information into Club Central and then allow that member to pay once that information has been included in Club Central. While Toastmasters will not allow a potential member to just go in and join a club, once that officer puts that information into Club Central, that potential member can become a member. And it can actually happen at the conclusion of an open house. So we don't want to allow those opportunities to slide through because we didn't think about who was going to bring the membership applications, who was going to encourage those potential members to join, and who was going to make sure that they were able to join and input their payment on the night of the or day of the open house. Those are opportunities that must be thought about during the planning process. Not only do we want to make sure that we have that opportunity for our members to join, we want to also keep in mind that every meeting is an event, or it is a production. And one of the things that I think will help our members to spread the word about Toastmasters and to invite them to our open houses is the way that we structure our meetings throughout the weeks, months, and years before the open house. We want to make sure that our meetings are well structured, that we have an agenda that is followed, and that we create a warm and friendly learning environment, not just on the date of the open house, but throughout. So keep in mind the planning includes everything from setting the date to making sure that the meeting is well planned to having a follow through in terms of how we are going to be able to grow our membership by having the membership application and a system in place for members to join. Also, don't take for granted that the advertising is going to just take place. Make sure that we have a person designated to do the flyers, to set up the Eventbrite, and we can take the links or the QR code from Eventbrite and share it with our members so that they can share it on their social media pages as well. So make sure that none of those things are left unattended to in terms of the advertising. That's part of the planning as well. And then last but certainly not least is the actual production, the production of the event itself. We want our members to show up early. We want to make sure that if they know they're not going to be able to attend and follow through on their role, that we are there in time to get someone to take their place. We also want to make sure that everyone is comfortable, because when we start the event, that is a production. And we do want to make sure that not only everything goes well, but that everyone has fun in the process. So let's remember what the 3 P's of having a successful open house. Remember your purpose. It's to get new members. Remember the planning, plan everything. And remember that it is a production for us to enjoy. Mr. Club Growth Director.
Thank you, distinguished Toastmaster Caroline Hogan, for that awesome presentation on open house. Yes. Can you share examples of success stories of any open houses for any of your clubs?
I think the one that I shared a few moments ago is probably the most successful, and it's the most recent. It was an open house for Miami Lakes Toastmasters Club, and our VP of membership posted a message in our WhatsApp chat every single day for a week, reminding us that the open house is coming up and reminding us and asking us, have you invited anyone to attend? And it was actually, I think, the word of mouth and having that ongoing repetition that kept it at the forefront of our minds that actually enabled us to get the number of members that we did and to have the number of guests appear or show up for the open house.
Thank you. We have Toastmaster Sonia St. Louis. Her question is, should the business session be held at an open house week, the business session of a club, I assume?
It depends on the business session and it depends on the club. If there are events coming up and we're only doing announcements, then I think it may be okay. However, if it's a situation where we're going to have a lot of discussion between our members, I would not use the open house as a time to do that. Because remember, the purpose is to bring in new members, and we do not want to risk having any discussions or anything happen that may cause that to be a problem. So it depends on the club. It depends on the leadership in the club and what the other business is that you will be discussing.
Thank you. We have Alex McRae. You like to make a statement, Alex? You can go ahead.
You talked about the executive team planning the event. One of the things that I often felt neglected in clubs that I've been in the past, making the executive team planning events and excluding the members. I think all the members should be a part of this event. So there are no surprises. It's not just the executive team effort, but a club effort to accomplish the task that you recommended. Another thing that the pre-registration that you mentioned on Toastmasters International, I do that for every member that comes to our club and fill out our guest book. I pre-register them. I get online. I follow up with them. I told them, look, you're already in the system. All you have to do is get on board and make the payment. And I send them all the links and everything that's necessary to do that. And another thing that I find important is constant contact with the potential member. If you leave them alone, they forget about, oh, well, I had a good experience. It was great. But you have to be there. And I don't mean, I have a unique situation because I'm in the health field business and I can send little health things that keeps us connected. Another thing that I do is I go online, social media, Facebook, and I check up on the potential member. So I know something about them. I know their likes, I know their dislikes, I know what to talk to them about when I call them or send an email. I also have a visiting member letter that I send out. And it's just a constant staying in touch with the members. In our Team Entrepreneur Club, we have gone from, I think, somewhere about 12 people. Now we're up to 21, and there are 2 more people coming aboard. Constant. One member told me, Alex, thank you for caring just by staying in touch. So thanks again for your presentation.
Thank you so much, distinguished Toastmaster Alex. And we've had an opportunity to work together before. So thank you so much for sharing. I appreciate that. And I do believe our Q&A time might be up.
Okay, we allow 2 more quick comments.
Hi, my name is Larry Holder, as you said, and yes, I am related to Gary Dean, and I simply wanted to congratulate on the presentation. And the thing that I wanted to say was the terminology that you use is so applicable to any meeting. Open house, purpose, planning, presentation. Those are traits or characteristics that can be used at any meeting. And even though this was a Toastmaster meeting, as I listened to your presentation, I was thinking about so many other meetings and where that would be relevant to whatever meeting that I may have. So I just wanted to extend a hearty congratulations to my sister-in-law and to your club and your organization. It was great and very informative.
Thank you, Larry, and thank you so much for coming.
Frankie Davis asks, how much time in advance should an open house be planned?
I think it depends on the club. I didn't mention the 3 times that I would recommend having the open house. We have the Talk Up Toastmasters, well, starting with Smedley to Talk Up Toastmasters to Beat the Clock. So at the very least, I would think we would have an open house during those 3 membership building segments that coincide with Toastmasters International's program for membership building. But it's really up to the club to determine how many open houses they want to have, how often they want to have the open house. And keep in mind, not every special event is necessarily an open house. We can have special events separate and apart from open houses for other reasons? Thank you so much for that question.
And thank you, DJ and Carolyn Hogan, for once again introducing us and giving us some tidbits on the world of open houses. Thank you.
Thank
You
you.
are now distinguished Toastmaster Antoinette Fox. Joined Toastmasters on October 1st, 1999. She was a area governor and division governor of the year for District 47 Division I in 2003-2004. Evaluator of the year for the Bahamas 2002-2003. She is a past present distinguished district governor, achieving the rank of number 5 in the world for District 47 out of 91 districts. Yes, number 5 out of 91. In 2018, because of her past performances and experience, she was called once again to serve as district director. She served also as the first region advisor of marketing for Region 8, consisting of 7 districts. And after serving as district governor, she went back in the lineup to serve her club, Action for Achievement Club 1095, as its president in 2009-2010, where she led the President Distinguished. She is a member of the Transitions Mentoring Program, a group that mentors young people throughout the Bahamas to transition in different areas of life. She is a business analyst in the Managing Director's Office of CIBC, First Caribbean Bank. She holds a management degree, an accounting degree, the Certified Administrative Professional Certification, a Human Resource Manager Certification, and a certification in Hospitality Management. She also has a bachelor's degree in management and is currently pursuing her master's in management and finance, with one more course remaining. Angela has obtained, 7 Distinguished Toastmaster Awards. She has served as Region 1 Advisor in 2002-2023, where she assisted Districts 7, 15, 39, and 57 located in Washington, California, Idaho, Utah, Nevada, Wyoming, and Oregon. She is the proud mother of 2 beautiful daughters, Shakira Roll and Ciara Newbold, son-in-law Guido Roll, and 2 handsome grandboys, Jonathan and Judah. Distinguished Toastmaster Antoinette Fox speaking on reaping and keeping your members.
Thank you, Mr. Club Growth Director. Thank you so much. Pleasant good evening, everyone. Happy to see you on a Friday evening when you could have been anywhere, but you are here on this membership building seminar this evening. So happy to see you. And just a funny thing that happened just now. So all the time that everyone else was speaking, my daughter stayed away. But as soon as it's time for me to speak, she's all about over at the front. Mommy, I can have this. Mommy, I can get this. No, I'm going to speak. Please go back where you came from. So it was just a funny thing that happened. That's why you saw me moving my head about. So I'm here to speak to you this evening on reaping and keeping, because we know many of us are familiar with the term reaping. And when you speak about reaping, it's something that you would have planted and you want to reap the benefit from it. But in Toastmasters, it's a little different when we speak about reaping and keeping. So the greatest challenge for many Toastmasters clubs, as we know, is how to turn visitors into members. But most importantly, how to retain them once they become members. Because we can get them, but how do we keep them? Every club needs a plan for how to take people from their first visit to becoming fully developed members. Visitors cannot be expected to return without any intentional action on our part. We must act. Visitors are normally seeking and need specific direction. When they come to our clubs, they are coming because either they have a need, they were invited by somebody, or there's a want that they want to fulfill. So there is something that they're already bringing with them, but we need to give them specific direction. So likewise, new members need to be nurtured and guided in their development. Now we do this orientation, which we know is the process of integrating the new members into our Toastmasters family and into our meetings. This process doesn't happen automatically though. And unfortunately, sometimes in some clubs, it doesn't happen at all. But I'm going to give you a few core practices for reaping members, how it is done. First, I suggest that you use a guest or visitor information card. Yes, you may have a guest book, But I prefer the little cards about the size of a business card that you can give in each individual who are visiting so that they can complete those personally and give them back to your membership or your sergeant at arms. Why I say individual cards? Because there may be some information you may want to ask that someone may not want to put in a guest book. For example, their personal telephone number. They may not want to put that into a generic guest book because everyone can see it. But if they're filling out something that they feel is personal, a personal card, and giving it to one individual, they may feel a bit more comfortable. Respond to visitors within a week. We know that time kills. If I visited your club 2 weeks ago and you just call me this coming week, I probably already forgot who your club was, unless you were really, really exciting when I visited. So respond within the same week that the individual would have visited. Let them know that you saw them there. You hope that they enjoyed the visit. If they have anything to suggest to you as a club, how did they enjoy it? So have a good conversation with them, and you can almost tell where their mindset is if they're coming back to visit. Make them feel comfortable. So make weekly appeals. Now, don't run them away by calling them too much. But if you call this week and you don't see them come out for another week or two, give them a call again and give them more of a personal call. Hi there, just checking on you. I know that you came out to our meeting once or twice. We haven't seen you. Just wanted to make sure you're okay. So you want to make that personal connection, that personal touch where they feel like, oh, wow, they remembered me. I didn't even think that they would have remembered me and to call me just to check on me. So another thing too is to schedule regular membership drives. How often do your club have a membership drive? And it doesn't always have to be where you go out and you set up and you spend a bunch of money to host a membership drive. It can be online membership drive. It can be a social media membership drive. It can be something on Instagram. We have so many tools now to use that we did not have when I joined the program over 22 years ago, because we either had to go out, set up shop, and hope people pass by. Now there are many, many more options for us to promote, present, and advertise our clubs so that members can become interested in our club. Now, the next thing I would like to speak with, because I know our time is a bit short, is how to retain these people once you get them in, because we know how to bring them in. We are Toastmasters. We know how to convince persons to join our clubs. Now, how do you keep them? Toastmasters is a program that fosters friendships and connections. Personally, I can speak from the friendships that's forged during Toastmasters. I have Toastmaster friends who are my daughter, who's now 16. They're her godmother, because I've been in the program over 22 years. So that should tell you, I've created friends 7 years before she was even born. So I have godmothers and godfathers in Toastmasters who are connected to her. So you build friendships, you build connections. Anson is my good friend. I call him Mr. Club Growth Director because he is Mr. Club Growth Director, but he is also a personal friend. So I've built friends throughout the years in this program, and they're life-lasting friends. They've been friends from day one. Leonardo Burris, as you would have known him as our past district director, he's been a friend of mine from we joined Toastmasters together, October 1st, 1999. So saying that we build these great friendships and connections. We want to be sure that you build relationships. When you are a member in a Toastmasters club, if you don't see one of your fellow members over maybe let's say 3 weeks minimum, you want to be sure to reach out. Everyone can't reach out, we know that, but have someone specifically to reach out to that member to find out what is going on, because not all the time they can give an excuse why they could not attend the meeting. But if you reach out, you can find out maybe they had a sick parent, a sick child, a sick spouse. Something could have happened that caused them not to attend. And for 3 consecutive weeks, we should become concerned. So we should want to reach out to each other, touch bases with each other. It makes it more of a connection for us. And when I say this, when I was president of the club that Anton would have mentioned that I went back and became president, when I went back, there was a list of members that I know was in the club when I was there prior. but they were no longer attending. So I reached out to all of them. The club went from having maybe 6 paid members to 32 paid members because they only wanted someone to reach out. And they were like, yeah, I'll come back. You're there now. I'll come back. Yeah, I know you'd be there. I'll come back. They want to know that you have concern for them, that you remember them, that you're treating them as a person and not just a number to have your 20 for charter strength. So you want to have a respectful and caring atmosphere. You want to be able to say that your club is one built on camaraderie, where everyone won't get along. So I'm not going to create that fairy tale. We all will not get along. You will have persons who will not, you'll have 30 members and about 5 of them or 6 of them may not get along with the other 25. So everyone will not get along, but you want to make sure that you have that good camaraderie and that good team building within your club. Another way to keep these members is to have after meeting activities or special events. I know here in Nassau, and our club group director can confirm this, every meeting there's another at least an hour meeting after the meeting, or we go to some restaurant or somewhere where we get together and make it a social activity. So if we have meeting from 6 to 8, usually we don't get home until 11 p.m., believe it or not, because we have a meeting after the meeting and everyone connects socially. You're able to talk, laugh, and have fun with each other. So make time to socialize. Bring those new members in through socializing. Keep them through socializing as well. You want to make sure that you assign mentors to every new member. You don't want to bring them in and just throw them to the wolves. You want to be sure that they have mentors. Personally, I've been in the program again over 20 plus years, and I still have a mentor. The last time I served as region advisor last year, my mentor was past president Pat Johnson. So always your mentors may change, as you grow. Your mentors will also grow with you. But be sure that your new members are all assigned mentors and make sure that they are trained. So have that new member training, give them all the details that they need on how to conduct a club meeting, speak about what the executives do so that they may be interested in having future plans on becoming an executive. Reward and award members for their achievement. And I see I have a red light, but I must say this one. Celebrate member achievements. We sometimes forget to celebrate our members when they achieve goals. And it's not just goals within the Toastmasters Club, but if they see that you are celebrating their anniversaries with them, birthdays with them, new births of children with them, getting their degrees, whatever it is they achieve, you want to be sure that you celebrate with them. So reward, award, and celebrate your members. And with the red light, I will close there, but be sure to know that members will only stay if you make them want to stay. We only stay in an environment where we feel comfortable, confident, and where we can grow and become better individuals. Thank you, Mr. Club Growth Director.
Thank you. Thank you, the Senior Toastmaster, Mr. Fox. And yes, celebrate. Our great District Director has the theme this year: fun plus recognition equals growth. Hardly it don't stop. We'll have a brief Q&A for our great ATM blocks. Any questions about reaping, keeping the members?
And I just want to add, if there are no questions, we want to be sure that, yes, we want to recruit new members, but it's critical for us to keep the existing members. We want to bring new people in, but we want to be sure that we keep our existing members. So member retention, that is definitely the vehicle that drives the organization to success. So remember that as well.
I agree. I actually have the gift, I would say, when I joined my own club over 11 years ago, the familiar faces are there from day one. They really do our part. They do their part to offer that mentorship, of course, for the newer individuals who one day join a club as well. So let's not just focus on the new, but we must focus on that ground roots to nurture our Toastmasters. Daytown Fox, any suggestions if you don't have enough Toastmasters to act as mentors?
You can always bring other Toastmasters you can reach out to Toastmasters from other clubs to act as mentors as well. For example, I mentor people who are in the US. I live in the Bahamas. So it does not have to be someone physically within your club, but it's best to pair them up with somebody who you are sure that they can be comfortable with, who they can connect with. So they don't have to be within your club, especially if you are a club that's having challenges with membership, or maybe new and most of your members may be of the same level playing field. You want to get some more experienced people. So you can bring members from other clubs to be mentors because they don't have to physically be there in the room. They just need to mentor them through the process.
Indeed. Thank you for that question, Terry Stewart. Thank you for that. If there be no further questions for DTM box, we will move on to our final prepared speaker, distinguished Toastmaster Jane Cabrera, who joined Toastmasters in August 2018 to improve her public speaking skills. She served as president, secretary, and VPE for her home club, Paul Spirit Toastmasters. She has served in district leadership as an area director and 2 terms as Pathways Chair. In 2021, she earned the designation of Distinguished Toastmaster. Jane is the owner of Jane Cabrera Coaching, where she carries out her mission to spread laughter, likeness, and love to organizations, leaders, and teams, and entrepreneurs through her coaching and training program. Distinguished Toastmaster Jane Cabrera speaking on the impact of club culture in a hybrid world.
Thank you, Mr. Club Growth Director. And good evening, honored dignitaries, fellow distinguished Toastmasters, and fellow Toastmasters. This picture was from September of 2019. It was my first district executive committee meeting. Back then, we used to meet in person. And it was I was an area director, so it was my first meeting in person, and there we were with the team. Little did we know that later that Toastmasters year, come March of 2020, the entire world would change, and we were catapulted into a hybrid world in ways that we could not anticipate at that point in time. But here we are. It's 2023. We're all here together right now on Zoom in this district-wide training event. And one thing is for sure, hybrid is here to stay. It's improved our lives in many, many ways, but it's also presented some new challenges. So let's explore the impact of club culture in a hybrid world. Now, have any of you ever had this experience? You attend a group event for the very first time. So you're going into a room where you don't know anyone. Now, the event is well organized. The speakers are great. You're greeted politely and warmly. But as you interact with the group, you notice that the people in the group already have a rapport that's very established. And as much as you're treated politely, you really just can't help but notice you're not part of the rapport of that group. Now, has anyone ever had that experience? Yeah, I at least see Geraldine shaking yes. It's hard to see the rest of the faces, so thank you, Geraldine. But, online, that disconnect can be even greater. There was an article that I referenced. Harvard Business Review conducted a study trying to identify what was imperative for success in a hybrid world. And they spoke to a good number of CEOs and senior executives leaders. Now, the CEOs and senior executives loved the hybrid environment. They felt very effective in their communication online, and they felt that their productivity didn't miss a beat. However, frontline managers and supervisors within the very same organization reported having drastically different results online. They felt their communication was very difficult and cumbersome and had trouble getting things done. So what was the disconnect? And more importantly, what does that have to do with us as Toastmasters? Well, in the article, it seemed that they learned that there's this invisible divide in the hybrid world. One of the things that made the CEOs different in a way than the ground level employees and managers was they already had certain skills. They tended to be very self-directed. They tended to already have soft skills. They already had existing personal connections and presentation skills. They were adept and comfortable with ambiguity. All of these things lead to success on Zoom in an online environment. But some of the managers and supervisors did not already come with these skills and found it very difficult. That really had me thinking. For us as Toastmasters, we have now been, and those of us who have been around for a while, we've had the opportunity to be at events where we've met each other in person. We've been on Zoom now for quite some time. We've improved our presentation skills. And quite frankly, coming from an outsider's perspective, we're all probably pretty slick with this online environment. So the question is, though, when new members come in or guests come in, especially to our online environment, are they feeling comfortable or are they maybe feeling a little intimidated in our presence? And just naturally, have we maybe lost sight of the fact that other people have not been on Zoom quite as regularly as we are? So what can we do to ensure that our members feel embraced and comfortable in a hybrid world? And I'm going to make 3 suggestions. Some of them may sound familiar. I heard Antoinette make a few of these. A couple of years ago, I was participating in a group. It was my first year in the group, and it was truly hybrid. When we started, there was a group Facebook page, and then there were actually group calls. We weren't even on Zoom at that time. It was literally just an audio call. When we had our first in-person event, it was my first time, and as I approached the door to enter the room, when I opened the door, there was a gentleman from the group who had been there for a couple of years. His name was Devin. And as soon as I opened the door, he turned and said, Jane's here. Of course, he recognized my face from Facebook. I had never met him before. But he came up, really greeted me warmly, said, we've been waiting for you. How was your trip? So on and so forth. Showed me where the name tags were, introduced me to a few people. What I learned later was that Devin and a couple of other people had made an intentional, deliberate decision. They actually had a list of the first timers, and they wanted to make sure that the personal connection was made so the first timers felt embraced entering into that room. And they knew, because they had been first timers, how uncomfortable they felt coming into a group of that nature. Now, in person, these kinds of connections, like Antoinette was saying, a lot of times there's a meeting after the meeting, and the nuances of personal connection are always easier in person because you see body language, you get the essence of people. Online, though, this can be a really big challenge. And what may need to happen is that someone may need to connect one-on-one via a separate call that has to be scheduled in order to make that connection. So who is going to take that on? What's our process? Who's responsible? Which brings me to the number 2 point that I'd like to make. Strong central guidance from our club leadership is important. And this is really where it comes down to club culture. What's the culture of our club? What is the guidance coming from our leaders? Have we reviewed what's our current process with prospective members? Is that person there to make that connection? Have we assigned that to somebody? Has somebody agreed to take that role on? And as Antoinette said, our mentors being assigned, is that process being maintained? Now, the third point that I want to make, and I really resonated with this, the Harvard Business Review article made mention that the CEOs and senior executives across the board commented that the environment of constant change, constantly having to adapt, that they had underestimated the physical and emotional toll that it was going to take on them. And leaders in general felt stretched. They felt a lack of bandwidth. So it's really important not only for us to provide that outreach to new and prospective members, but let's really check in with our leaders. our volunteers who are showing up week after week, planning our meetings and so forth, how are they doing? Are they feeling stretched? And do they need support? Can we help them maybe get a committee? So remember that the overall essence of, inclusion and having a great learning environment where we can all learn and grow, and we want to share that, making it safe for our new members, but we also want to make sure that our leaders who are keeping us going are well taken care of. So just keep that in mind. Teamwork makes the dream work. And with that, I will take questions. Mr. Club Growth Director.
Thank you, distinguished Toastmaster Jan, for that welcome into embracing culture in a hybrid world. Any questions?
Hi, this is Hyun with Riverwalk Toastmasters. Jane, I especially appreciated your comment about recognizing the name and putting the name to the face. So when a new person comes in, we can say, yes, Jane, so nice to see you. And let me take it one step further. In my club, we have many Toastmaster members from different backgrounds, different culture, different countries, and the names are not easy. So we make special effort to really know the names. And we are talking Esanul, Rajesh, Bamsi, and so really exotic names, not easy to remember, but we make effort.
That's, I really appreciate, that's a really key point, and making sure that you're pronouncing the name correctly and taking the time to ask the person, how do you pronounce your name? And then that really does make a difference, and it helps a person to really feel that they are important and they are included. Thank you for that.
Thank you for that. I have one question for you, Jane. And the hybrid culture is live and dominant, as we would say, but do you foresee in the future any return to strictly or the majority of clubs meeting in person?
I would say no. I would not anticipate it. Although I think there's a lot of benefit to meeting in person, and I can speak for my home club that being in person, that there was a dynamic. We never had to do membership drives because just people who would come and visit, we would get new members and retain them well enough, or that we had enough new people coming in through attrition. Today, we are just an online club, and we are now struggling with membership. However, I don't see going back to just in person. I really don't see that being feasible. And what I see, like with our members, a lot of people like myself, I have moved. I wouldn't even be with my club if I could not join remotely. And a lot of people travel, but I see that they would make their club meeting. They would attend their club meeting if they have the online option. So in my opinion, I think the hybrid, like having an in-person, I think is very important to have that in-person connection. And also really just from the speaking perspective, so that people are gaining the skills required to actually speak in front of a live audience. There is a different feel between the live audience and coming from behind a screen. So I feel that in-person connection is very important. However, I think in the long term, the flexibility of hybrid is, I think it's actually just going to be more expected by most people to have the flexibility to fit their lives.
Thank you for that.
Thank you.
Cynthia, you have a question?
No, I just had a statement. I've been in Toastmasters 22 years, and I've been in Arkansas and Atlanta, and those clubs still invite me to their events, anniversaries. And so I just wanted to encourage everybody tonight. I've also found here in Florida that if you keep in touch with people, I always say to our former members, we're friends first, Toastmasters second. And I do find with Riverwalk, and I'm also a member of Palm Beach Advance, that people do come back. So if people say for a personal reason they need to take a break, still keep in contact with them. You are concerned about them as a person first. And I'm surprised we do have even a member now coming back. She had to take a break because she was a COVID nurse, but she's coming back to the club. So don't be discouraged. Remember, friendship first, Toastmasters second. Keep in touch with people because you, like Antoinette was saying, you care about them, and you'd be surprised. Many of them will come back. Just wanted to encourage everybody.
Thank you for that, Cynthia. Frankie Davis asked, is the online hybrid club much more expensive?
That's a good question. And I guess what you're saying from the I guess from a member perspective, the member dues is the same, but from, I guess some clubs must have to pay some expenses for the hybrid. Honest, like right now, ours is just online, so I really don't know the answer to that. Is there anyone on here who can speak to the expense of a hybrid club?
Well, I know, me personally, of course, hybrid does include a additional investment, microphones, lighting, and of course, cameras. So I would say that, of course, it will incur a additional expense for the club, and then ultimately it will seep onto the numbers. So I think that is a good answer, that yes, it is going to incur more expenses. Andrew?
Yeah, I think that you raised an important question. And I've been in clubs that, the club we first started out with, Club Awesome, is a very expensive club because their meeting facility costs a lot of money. It's like $25 a week to the club. So that costs a lot of money. And then they have the ability to have, through their hybrid, they're maintaining 1 or 2 computers, microphones, and all of that. Whereas if you're meeting only, you don't have those problems. However, I'm in one club that's hybrid, but meets in person as well, and they meet at a library. And as we come up on Thanksgiving and Veterans Day and all those other holidays and voting, the library is shut down. If they didn't have a Zoom or hybrid capability, then they would also be shut down. And that would be very disruptive. If people can't get a routine going that says every whatever day it is, whatever time it is, on a recurrent basis, if they're not doing that, then they lose people as well.
Thank you, Brett.
If you look at the old statistics, 80% of people that belong to a club lived within 10 miles of that club. Once we started having COVID and hybrid, there is much more a common situation where people belong to that club from anywhere in the world. And that makes a big difference. Changes the culture of the club.
Thank you, Andrew. Cynthia, final thought?
Yeah, sometimes it's a planning thing. Like my club meets at a university, which the hybrid is embedded. So our room comes with that. We're fortunate, but it took us a very long time to get a room like that. Or sometimes a law office. So if you think about that and you're looking for a place, sometimes you're able to find a place that has an extra camera. Because a lot of places today, they're realizing the company itself has hybrid meetings because of COVID, they have to. So maybe when you're looking for a place, but if not, it does entail getting another camera and all of that. But the ability to do that and have members throughout the world is priceless. So keep that in mind. And when you're selecting it, and then also some places it's just a natural thing, like a law office might have that as well, or university. Mm-hmm.
Great point. Thank you for that, Cynthia. Okay. There be no other questions. I'd like to thank all of our presenters for taking time in their busy schedules to once again offer the screwdrivers, the hammers, the nails to add to our membership tools built-in toolbox. And I cannot wait to see what newest, what ideas is going to be delivered to your respective clubs, and ultimately is going to lead to that club growth of our awesome district. I'd like to thank you, and I officially bring this membership tools training event to a close. Good evening.